Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before we dive into today's episode, which is doing a deep dive into the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and then also touching on the Real Housewives of New York, and maybe even a little bit of the OC. So, before we dive in, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. So, with that, let's go. So let's first talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So we just watched season 5, episode 7, The Husbands. So, number one, if my man does not defend me the way John Barlow defends Lisa Barlow, then I don't want him. Okay? Team Lisa, Team John, all the way. Whitney and her husband Justin were out of their mind, out of pocket, out of control. Very negative, very nasty, very just dark people. Justin, to me, my question on Justin and Whitney is this: do we think Justin knows that Whitney is a liar? Or do we think that Justin is a willing participant in the schemes and the scams? When it comes to Whitney, we know he has his shady stuff when it comes to like his businesses, alleged like Ponzi schemes, MLL schemes. Like we know that's super shady and they've been, sued and all that stuff. But my question is, do we think that he knows Whitney is lying on Lisa Barlow about the whole, Alibaba jewelry stuff, podcaster expose, this, that, and the third? I'm conflicted. A part of me thinks the way Justin is acting, he actually believes Whitney's lies. Like the way Angie drinks the Kool-Aid, the way Bronwyn drinks the Kool-Aid, the way, how she like lies and gets people to then go and fight Lisa on her behalf. I'm just wondering if Justin is in on the scheme or if he is just as dumb as everybody else and is actually believing her. You know, my gut says he actually is believing Whitney and he thinks that Lisa is doing all this crazy stuff when it's not true. Now, and also in the episode, it confirms what Dana Wilkie was saying about how Whitney let's just say alleged, because people out here are nuts, most likely allegedly was in a pinch with production to get a phone call with the quote podcaster Adam from Up and Adam on the show. Because if you noticed in last night's episode, Whitney says, I got a verbal confirmation that Lisa was behind it. She specifically said that. Now, remember, Up and Adam said himself that they did not film the conversation in the car until after all of that happened, because Whitney had called him and said, oh, we need you to say this on the phone for continuity. And then they inserted the conversation that Whitney and Adam had in the previous episode to make it appear as though that conversation happened before Angie's party, when in reality it didn't. Now, my question is this: did production know that this was all a lie and they are in on the scheme? Because production would have to have said, okay, let's set up this phone call with Adam, and then we are going to edit it consciously out of sequence that we shot it in order for it to make sense in the story. So even though they shot the stuff, Whitney and Adam and Justin shot everything with Adam after this whole party happened and they inserted it, my question is, did production know that Adam and Whitney were lying? Did they believe Whitney? Did they believe Adam? And they just said, okay, we're going to get this pickup shot so we can insert it to make the continuity go? Or did they know that they were lying? That's my question for production. That's what I want to know, shady producers, because the only way we got the conversation with Whitney and Adam in the car is because they chose to shoot it on a different date and then insert it at a certain time in the story. Adam said that's what happened, and Dana Wilkie said that's probably what happened when Whitney called Adam saying, "Hey, like we need this shot to make the story flow." So there's that angle on it. But let's talk a little bit more ugh about Whitney and Lisa and Heather and Bronwyn. Did you notice that Mary was basically not in this episode? Meredith basically was not in this episode. Angie was barely in the episode, basically just in flashbacks. Like, I don't know what is going on, but this is clearly the Lisa Barlow show, and I'm 100% here for it. Now, let's talk about Lisa. I love that she's starting to hold her own as that girl without getting crazy and without getting too out of pocket. When she said Whitney is going to have to beg me to look at her again, I died. I loved it. Every single second of it. I was here for it. It was the most iconic line ever. She's going to have to beg me to look at her again. I was like, note to self, I'm going to put this in my little pocket, and one day I will use this line. Like, it will be said from me to someone about a situation. I promise that. Okay. So yeah. So love Lisa doing that. I love Lisa and I love John. I love their relationship. I love their morning routine. I think Lisa's conversation with her sister about her parenting, clearly she wanted to get that in there because of all the stuff Angie was saying about her parenting. But I also think it's good to have those conversations on camera about the struggles of being a parent and if you're doing a good job and what your children are struggling with. I'm not a parent, but I think that for the people out there, whether you are a parent or not, it's still good to have those conversations to see, oh, I'm not alone, or oh, this is how I would do it, or oh, I understand that, or whatever the case may be. I love those conversations. And actually, it's funny because I don't know if the producers are like listening to me, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, but this was the exact note that I had for Garcelle. For the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because last season I love Garcelle. I think she's fantastic. I think she's great. She's wonderful. All of the things. However, I'm tired of her kids on camera. I'm tired of it. Every single scene was Garcelle and her sons and the girlfriend, Garcelle and her sons and the girl. Like, it was too much. Sure, you can show your kids, you can talk about your kids, but it was too much. And I said, with the housewives, I personally would prefer go out to dinner with your girls, go out to drinks with your girls, and then you can talk about your struggles as a parent or what your children are going through, but it's within an adult context rather than watching you and your kids have the conversations all of the time. Like, like showing them is great, but not every single conversation. So I did appreciate the fact that she's talking about her struggles as a mother, not struggles as a mother, but you know what I mean, what's going on with her kids and her family. But she did it within a grown adult conversation she's having with another adult friend. That dynamic I like a lot more. So I was on board for that. What else? So Heather, loving Heather this season. I think she's having a great edit. She's having a great season. Now, when it comes to Heather versus Bronwyn / Angie, I am team Heather all day long. Heather clocked weirdo, wackadoodle, flip-flopper, theater kid wannabe, costume wearing wackadoodle Bronwyn from day one, and I am with Heather 1,000%. Bronwyn to me is a type of person who has no sense of self, which is why she's always in a costume, which is why she's always placating to whoever is in front of her, which is why she sounds like a theater kid. Like, she always sounds like she's doing like a production of Pippin or something. Like, oh, Angie, I heard you talked about Lisa's parenting skills. What happened there? You guys, did you know my husband is so old? I know, we're like different generations. Lisa. Like, it's weird, bizarre, girl, stop. Like, what? So I clocked that, and Heather clocked that, and I love that. And also, when Heather went to Bronwyn's house, okay, can we talk about this for a second? This grinds my gears. You want to act like you have more money than God, but yet your house isn't finished and you've had it for over a year. I always squint at people who have these big houses and then they have nothing in it. Like, I'm confused, Bronwyn. You're bragging about wearing a $15,000, weird, fluffy, fuzzy heart thing that like I could make in, uh, kids a kindergarten art class, okay? You're talking about $15,000 freaking weird heart-shaped crap and all this other stuff, and this costs 30K and this is this, but you can't furnish your house? You can't find you don't have a dog walker to clean up after the dog's crapping all over your house? Girl, miss me with that bye. Like, that's what I never get. You could look, I'm sure she has the money. I'm sure her husband has the money. But again, we never know with these housewives. They always come on acting like they have all this money. And then 2 weeks later, page 6 is coming out with some expose about fraud and bankruptcy and everything else. I'm not saying that's true for her. I'm not. But why don't you have a furnished house? And why don't you have, people to clean up after your dog crapping everywhere? Not that I'm saying you need to have people to do it, but I'm saying if you're acting like, oh, we have all this money and we're so highfalutin and blah, 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 don't you have a dog walker or somebody? And if you don't, do it yourself. I don't have a dog. I don't have a dog walker, but if I did, I would be cleaning up after my pets. Girl, bye. Also, the way she was talking to Heather was delulu. Like, Bronwyn, you're delulu, and not in the fun manifestation way, and like the actual, like, you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like, you invite this woman to your home, then you give her this roundabout apology, and then you demand she apologizes to you, or else she's not going to get invited to a trip you're planning. I would never invite someone to my home expecting them to apologize to me. I would invite somebody to my home if I wanted to apologize to them. That's not the way the world works. That's why Heather was like, I feel really weird. I have a pit in my stomach. I want to leave. This is weird. If someone invited me to their house and then demanded I apologize to them, I would be out the door because you're cuckoo. You're crazy. You're cuckoo. Let's talk a little bit more how crazy Bronwyn is, and I'll get back to Heather and the Angie stuff. Bronwyn with wearing the costumes to go to the airport to meet her husband, that is the thirstiest, weirdest, wackadoodle stuff. Like, tell me your marriage is fake and over and dead without telling me your marriage is fake and over and dead. Like, you go to the airport dressed up as a pig and a dog and a horse and an M&M and a mushroom and a cactus and a what? Bronwyn, you have too much time on your hands. And you have too much time on your hands because your husband is gone more than 50% of the time in another state. And you want to sit here and tell me you're in a happy marriage? Stop lying. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Ain't no way in hell you're in a happy marriage doing all that to get this man's ounce of attention. And when he looks at you with disgust and disdain. Like, who is this person? With embarrassment because you're so thirsty for his attention when he's flying in and out to New York doing God knows what with who knows what. I don't trust that. I work in New York 3 to 5 days a week. That's not a marriage. You're a housekeeper. You keep the houses going. You're an interior designer. You're not the wife. Stop. Anyway, and that's not to knock couples who, one person travels for work and all that stuff. Like, I know that happens. I'm just saying, given all of that stuff with Bronwyn, the dressing up, the needy for attention, the weird personality, like not having a furnished home, even though clearly you allegedly should have millions of dollars, like, call Heather Dubrow. She will help you out. Heather Dubrow would have that house furnished in 0.2 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, I'm confused, Bronwyn. You have time for costumes, but you don't have time to go to Costco. I'm confused. Super confused, girl. Furnish your house. And stop hating on Lisa Barlow. Stop being up Whitney's butt. Leave Heather alone. And go and frolic in the forest with Angie because that's where y'all both belong. Okay? Now, let's talk about Heather versus Angie. Okay? Also, Team Heather. All right? Definitely Team Heather. Angie, to me, is the type of girl who is a yes friend, who secretly hates you and wants to be you. But she has no personality of her own. She has no brain of her own. She has no thoughts of her own. And so she's not loyal to you out because she actually likes you. She's loyal to you because she's lost and she like needs to mold to somebody else. So it used to be Lisa. Well, no, it used to be Angie H. Then it was Lisa, and now it's Whitney. She has no personality of her own. She does not think for herself. Whoever the alpha girl in the room is, she just molds to her. And I'm confused as to why Angie is so mad at Heather for doing the same exact thing to her that she did to Lisa at the beginning of the show. So Angie's like, "Oh, I talked to Heather in confidence, and then she went and told Lisa, about the bad parenting stuff but I didn't have a chance to go talk to Lisa myself first." Didn't you do that to Lisa? When Lisa was venting to you about Whitney and Whitney talking about Lisa to anybody who would listen on the podcast and everything else, and you turned around and you went straight to Whitney and you told her everything Lisa said about her before Lisa had a chance to talk to Whitney? So now all of a sudden you think that Heather is this horrible person for doing literally the same exact thing that you did? But you wanted to say that Lisa was overreacting. You wanted to say that Lisa was trying to control you. You wanted to say Lisa was such a horrible person because she was like, "Well, now I have to like watch myself with you. I'm talking to you in confidence about something that's going on. And then the moment I turn my back, you go and you report it back to your boss, Whitney. So now I feel some type of way." But you wanted to act like Lisa was being irrational for that. But yet you've let Heather being like, "Hey, you just badmouth Lisa. I'm going to go tell her because I'm telling you to your face what you're saying is wrong." Now you want to act like Heather is like some horrible person because she just went and did what you did, just went back and reported what somebody said because you felt some type of way about it. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Angie to me is such a hater, like such an undercover hater. Let this be a PSA to anybody. Do an audit of your friends. If there are friends that you have that secretly hate you, are jealous of you, want to be you, resent you, cut them off or have very limited contact with them in a very superficial way where you're not actually telling them your business or having them involved in your life, because when the moment comes, they will get you how they want to get you. They will bite like a snake. They will bite. So watch out for those people, because just like Lisa said in the confessional, this was Angie's truth serum. This is how she felt all the time. But the truth is, I don't even think Angie really thinks Lisa is a bad parent. She just wanted to say something that was like a low blow, or judgment she's had against her just to hurt her, which is pretty disgusting if you ask me. Pretty disgusting and pretty gross. So to me, Angie is nobody's friend because she doesn't know who she is. She's weird. She's whack. She can have Bronwyn. She can have Whitney. She can have Mary since they're best friends now. Whatever. Angie to me is whack as hell. I'm Team Heather all the way. Also Team Heather when it comes to her and Bronwyn. Bronwyn to me is a weirdo. She's another one who uses her money and her costumes as cover for not really knowing who she is, not having self-esteem. She literally said this episode that her fear is that her best version of herself isn't good enough. Excuse me, girl, what? That's why Heather clacked you, because you don't validate yourself. Therefore, you change because you want validation from other people. And that comes across as being phony, as being fake, as being messy, as being shady, because you're going to change with the wind because you don't know who you are. And you're trying to get validation from everybody else. You were talking crap about Whitney in the car when you don't know this group of people like that. And then when you were well alone with Whitney, you were talking crap about Lisa, who's supposed to be your friend, who brought you on the show. So you are weird. You are shady, and you are a flip-flopper, and you do perform to whatever audience you're in, and that's not cool. And she claps you for it. Now, Bronwyn, I don't think you're a bad person. Now, I think Whitney is a bad person. I think Whitney's evil. Like, I think Whitney gets pleasure out of lying and hurting people. I don't think Bronwyn is a bad person. I just think Bronwyn is confused and doesn't know who she is and doesn't have enough self esteem and confidence to really be a good friend. Because anybody who is seeking that type of external validation is not sure of who they are, can't really be a good friend because they don't have the type of morals and grounding and values because that will change depending on who they're in front of. And for me, I need my friends to be my friends in my face and most importantly, in my absence. And if you can't trust that, that's not a good friend. So Bronwyn missed me with all this, with all that crap. Now, Brittany was in the episode for like 2 seconds. Brittany can go. We don't need Brittany no mo. We really, really don't. And I also feel like Brittany tricked Heather because it kind of came out this season or this episode that I think Heather thought Brittany's trajectory on the show was going to be her being single and her working on a good relationship with her kids. Because Heather was like, you're looking crazy. You're sounding crazy out here. I don't want you to. What happened to you being single and getting your kids back? So to me, it seemed like that was probably the pre-scripted storyline for Brittany. But Brittany is pathetic and very basic and looks like a damn fool going after this guy, Jared, who literally told her, I don't want you, pretty much to her face. And so I think that Heather is kind of feeling some type of way, and I'm tired of Brittany. She can go. Because even in the scene, Heather was trying to talk about the fight between Justin and John Barlow, and she was like, wait, what? No, like when Jared came, and Heather was like, what? Like, this is stupid. You look crazy out here. Like, what are you talking about? Like, stop. So I kind of feel like Brittany just can go. Like, we didn't need any of her scenes. We don't need her storyline. Brittany, what you need to do is you need to go and look after your children. And I want to clarify something she said on the show, which I think is very, very manipulative and wrong. She goes, yeah, I want to be a good mom to my kids. I want to have my kids in my life. I'm just so alone. I'm so lonely. But like, I want to be able to, like date and find my own happiness too. Which to me is like toxic positivity. Like, I can be a mom and date and find my own happiness too. In the context of, I'm doing it with someone who is unhealthy, with someone who is toxic, and I'm doing it at the detriment of my children's mental, emotional, and physical, and probably even financial well being. That is why that sentiment is wrong. And it irritates me so much when people use things that are actually healthy and true. Yes, you can be a wonderful mother. And yes, you can also date and, have healthy relationships, have healthy romantic relationships. You can focus on yourself and you can, find that happiness as well as a woman. 1000%. You can definitely do that. And you should. That is actually a healthy human being a good parent, having healthy relationships with your children, and then also remembering your own humanity, your own womanhood, and your own happiness and all of that stuff. However, that does not apply to abandoning your children because you want to pursue toxic and unhealthy and abusive relationships. That does not apply. So, Brittany, shut the hell up. Because you got yourself on with your big old age on this show, and you had the audacity to come out your mouth and say you lost your kids because you wanted to pursue a relationship with a man who on national television told you every single way he could that he does not even want you. And you are still willing to abandon your children for a man who doesn't want you. And you said that with your whole chest. And then in the other breath, you wanted to have some kumbaya fire chat, some Mormon cult crap on my TV screen. So you want to talk about being a good Mormon, having people in your house. Why don't you be a good mother and have your children in your house? Again, I'm not a parent, but however, if I were, there is no way in hell I'm having powwows and fire chats and people coming over to sing weird stuff. And I'm going on, dates and doing this, that, and the third and trying to go on ski trips with friends and being on a TV show. If my children did not mess with me, if my children were not with me, that would be my single focus. Because yes, you are allowed to still be a woman, but when you open your legs and you pop out a kid, you are making the decision and the path that you have to put that child needs above your own, not to the detriment of yourself, but sure as hell not to the detriment of your children for a man that doesn't even want you. So miss me with this Mormon crap kumbaya fireside chat when your children don't even want to be in the house with you. So Brittany, you can go. You're dismissed. Thank you for your service. Okay. Who else is there? Who else is there? So we talked about Whitney and everything going on with her. Clearly she's lying on Lisa. Like that is just obvious. Justin is annoying. I think he does believe her lies, and that's why he got so upset. But give me John Barlow all day, every day. Yes, 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 yes. He is so good. All right. I think that's everybody. Let me do a quick overview of each girl, like a one-liner, and then we'll move on to New York City girls. Okay. So Lisa Barlow, love her. MVP, want more from her because she's the best. I'm interested to see what happens next episode because they sort of foreshadow that her and John are kicked out of Todd and Bronwyn's event or vacation or whatever. Let's call a spade a spade. Todd is mad at Lisa because Lisa is friends with Bronwyn's daughter's father's family, right? Because in this episode, he was really mean and dismissive about the whole situation and was just like, you know what I think about it. I don't want to talk about it. Blah, 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 blah. Those people are horrible. Rah. So, Todd, that's what you're really mad about. So, calm down, pipe down. So, I'm interested to see what's going to happen with that next episode. But I love Lisa. Keep shining. Heather, no notes. She is absolutely killing it. Brittany can go. Whitney, evil, toxic, liar. I can't wait for her to be exposed. She can go. Meredith was barely in this episode, but I will say this. I am loving Lisa and Meredith's friendship. I'm loving how loyal they are to each other. I'm looking forward to the next episode that we're foreshadowing where we see Seth and I believe Justin are going to go at it because I think Whitney and Justin are exposed for talking about their child Brooks. So that'll be very interesting for them to come and play and, Seth showing up. Bronwyn, you need to go clean up your dog poop, get your house furnished, find a personality, and leave us alone and get off our screens because I'm personally not here for you. You're a weird person. You're just weird. Angie, same notes. Go find a personality, get your head out of Whitney's butt, leave Lisa alone and worry about, your own situation because you're just a weirdo. Mary, barely on this episode, but again, I like Mary this season. She seems a lot lighter. I think maybe alleged separation from Robert Sr., the church not being up and running or whatever the case may be with that. I think she's probably had some demons exorcised out of her for all the stuff that happened in her past, allegedly. Hope her son is doing well in rehab. So that's kind of where I land on all the girls. So I want to know what you guys think. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's move on to the Real Housewives of New York City. So let's talk about the latest episode, which was season 15, episode 5. And before we dive in, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's go. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I feel like this season and definitely this episode is boring and it fell flat. Very, very flat, very, very boring to me. In fact, I think Jessel even came out and said, oh, they had to stop filming early, or they cut filming early because the girls were fighting so much. Like there was so much inner fighting. And the problem is it's not fun fighting, because there's like fun drama, fun beef, fun shade, but it's getting to the point where it's not even dark. It's not like a Beverly Hills, when Beverly Hills was dark with like the whole Lisa Rinna and all that stuff. It's not even dark fighting. It's just tired fighting. It's tired and it's boring. Like I felt the way um Bryn felt at the party, just bored at Jessel's clueless party. Jessel was again trying way too hard. Like, why are you like she turned 41, I think it was, or something like that. Why are you having 4 outfit changes, clueless theme? Like your friends didn't even know who your husband was. Like that's also super shady. Are these extras that you just hired to come to your party? Like, how do your close friends and family not know who your husband is? Because then someone like, oh, how do you know Jessel? And he was like, I'm her husband. So who are these people? Are these like central casting extras? I'm confused. I'm confused. How do they not know Pavitt? Anyway, let's go through the girls. Sai, again, Sai, I feel like she's doing a lot better this season. She's actively trying to be less angry, less reactive. But again, I'm bored of her. Not that she's necessarily boring, but I'm not particularly interested in her. Like, I don't care. I'm not invested. Like, she's beefing with people, but now she's best friends with But like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Bryn, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I actually don't mind Bryn. I don't. I do think that she is sad. I think she's lonely. I think she's a bit bitter when it comes to Uba and her man. I think she's kind of like, that's what I want, and it should be me a little bit, I think is going on there. But I actually don't dislike Bryn. I don't. I know that's probably a very unpopular opinion, but I don't dislike Bryn. I also know that Bryn is going to get the brunt of the whole, angry black woman comment that she made to Uba, don't act like that because they're going to paint you as the angry black woman. And then Oliver isn't going to want to marry you. So I'm telling you to like use your words, calm down, don't be the angry black woman, or else Oliver won't want to marry you. Translated meaning, don't act too black or else Oliver isn't going to think that you are worthy of being with him and in his circle and with his people. Don't present too black is basically what she was saying. Now, I know that in and of itself, that is wrong. That is rooted in racism. That is rooted in internalized racism. That's rooted in a lot of different things. I think that's also how Bryn sees herself. I think she struggles with her own identity and her own blackness. And that's probably how she feels, that she can't present herself as too black, or else she won't be accepted in certain circles and everything like that. So whatever the case may be. So for me, when Bryn said that, it was more of, I feel bad for how racism has turned into internalized hatred for herself, internalized anti-blackness, because I understood what Bryn was saying. And in it of itself, it is wrong. 1,000%. But you have to peel back the layers of where that actually comes from and what that is actually rooted in. And to be honest with you, Uba agreed with her, which is why when Uba came, this was last episode, or the episode before that, when Uba came back to the table, she was like, oh my God, I love Bryn. You're amazing. I only act like that because of Bryn. And then in last night's episode, when she has the conversation with Raquel, she's again trying to backpedal. Oh, Bryn said, I would be the angry black woman, but she triggered me and I only did that because of her. And that's not really me. So Uba is even trying to say like, oh, that's not actually how I act. That's not actually me. That was just me because of Bryn triggering me. So she herself is actually, feeding into that. Like, that's not actually me. I was just triggered because of Bryn. I don't really act like that. And my point is this. Unfortunately, there is so much stereotypes and racism and internalized racism and self-hatred and anti-blackness that we see a Bryn saying this, and then we see an Uba internalizing this and agreeing with it. But I don't think people are understanding that's actually what Uba is doing. And I don't think people are understanding that what Bryn is saying isn't rooted in hating Black people. It's rooted in hating a part of herself, if that makes sense. So I kind of look at both of these women with a little bit of compassion, because basically what they both are doing is rooted in self-hate due to racism. And that's really at the core. And I think that that conversation is being missed because people are just like, oh, Bryn said this and angry Black woman stereotype, and Uba is like this beautiful Black woman and she can do blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but the true conversation, the core of the conversation to me is more about self-hatred, the dimming of self, the assimilation of self, in order to be accepted, to be loved, to be worthy, to be deserving. And I think that's a more productive conversation to have, because that's actually at the root of what's going on with these two women. And that's actually at the root of why their friendship has such a divide. And the reason why I brought that back up is because Jessa was saying, they had to cut production short because of fighting. The fighting is between Bryn and Uba, So we'll see what happens with all of that stuff and how that unfolds and shakes out. Aaron, again, the reason why I think that this, what it's giving? This season of New York is kind of giving last season of Beverly Hills, where all the women were just sad. And so that's why the season was kind of flat, because all the women just seemed sad and lonely and depressed. Erin is clearly sad, lonely, angry, and depressed. Her and her husband are having a very pretentious fight every single scene. He he spilled coffee on her or ice cream or some crap on her because he was annoyed with her talking. They clearly are going through it. Her mother is sick. Her husband I bet you they are in a lot of debt. I bet you their financial situation is not pretty, and I think that there's a lot going on with Erin, and I think she's really sad, which was what the core of her fight with Jenna was. She was like, listen, because again, let this be a PSA. Check in on your strong friends. Check in on your friend that you think doesn't need you, because probably she's the friend who needs you the most. So check in on your friend who you think don't need you. Those are the ones who probably need you the most, because those are the ones that get overlooked when they're in crisis. Erin's like, hey, you guys know, my husband just, financially abused me. My mother has cancer. I'm going through it. I just had to move houses, because we got sued for $44,000 in unpaid rent. Erin's going through it. And no one's checking on her. No one's really sure, maybe Uba, but that's their friendship, I think, is more of a convenience than a true one. That's just my gut feeling there. But she was like, Jenna is supposed to be my friend. I've always had her back. She's not checking in on me, And so it's check in on your friend that you think doesn't need you. Just check in and be mindful of people who are going through things, who may not have the emotional ability, not necessarily ability or capacity, because ability and capacity are two different things. The ability means that you have the emotional intelligence to know to ask for support, or that you're going through something and you need something. That's the ability, right? The capacity is, I am just overwhelmed and I just don't have the space to even deal with figuring out how to get support. So I think that Erin has the emotional ability, because I think she's very emotionally intelligent, but I think because she's in crisis, she does not have the emotional capacity to deal with asking for help. So if you have a friend who has something going on, a death in the family, cancer, a crappy husband who is either cheating or is being financially abusive, check on them. Maybe just see, girl, you want to go for coffee? can I come over? Let's watch some TV. Check on your friends, guys. Check on your friends. Okay. Um, so yeah, so I actually really like Erin. Again, that might be an unpopular opinion, but I like Erin. I think she's fun. I think she's cool, but I do think she's definitely going through something. Now, Jenna effin Lyons, I think she's overrated and I stand by that. I will die on this mountain. I think she's super overrated. I don't think she's that interesting. I don't think she's that cool. I don't know. I'm just not here for it. I don't Sure. Okay, Jenna. Cool. I don't even know what to say about Jenna because yeah, I'm just not that into it. I don't know. I mean, I guess she's like a girl boss and everything. Okay, cool. But yeah, I don't know. Pay Aaron back the 250 for the Uber ride. I would be pissed if I had to pay for my friend's Uber ride and it was $250 and they did not pay me back, but then they drive up with $250,000 Bentley, but you can't pay me 250 bucks. We have a problem. You better Venmo me that money ASAP, okay? ASAP. Pay her back. Pay her back. Okay. Jessel. You know what grinds my gears when it comes to Jessel? I I don't know what it is, but there's something in my spirit that just repels an adult woman who doesn't know who she is. Like Jessel being like, "Ah, I wanted to be the rich bitch in California, like clueless. And like, she's like a spoiled girl. And, she's like daddy's little girl. Who does that sound like, Pave? Ugh. Like, what? Like, are you not an adult with children? Like, I'm confused. What is going on with you? You're just all over the place. She's playing pretend. She's just her and her husband. He doesn't even get her a card for her birthday and anniversary. Like, what? He's going to Vietnam for sandwiches. Sure. Like, let's just pretend that's still the truth. What is going on in your life? Like, get it together. Now, that is not to say that I have an issue with women who are rich or want money or has a trust fund from daddy or has a husband who provides for them. No, I am not saying that there's anything wrong with that because I personally don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying the way Jessel sort of dumbed herself down and got really weird and just I always wanted to like do this. It was just weird. It just seemed very like you're an adult woman and you have no idea who you are and you're still chasing some childlike fantasy, but not in like a cute way, not in like a fun way, but just in like a I feel bad for you. And I think that's why she still has this nervous energy about her, this weird energy, because I feel like she's always playing a role and playing pretend. And the gag is, I think if she actually just breathed, took all that away, and just got grounded into who she was, I actually think Jessel would be really cool. I think she would be like really funny and really cool and just like a cool chick. But the problem is she gets in her own way because she still has all of these like fronts and like pretenses and like pomp and stance and this accent that I'm still not buying, Jessel. I don't know why. I just don't buy your accent. I think it's fake. That's just me. Um, Better than Dorit's though, but I still don't buy it. I think if she sort of like let all that go, stopped caring about what people thought, let the weird fantasy go, and just sort of was like, hey, this is me. Like, this is what I'm insecure about. This is what I'm secure about. This is who I am. I'm trying to figure it out. I actually think that version of Jessel would be really cool because I do think she's a cool girl. I do think she's funny. And I do think there's like really cool, quirky qualities to her, but to me, I just can't get past the the fakeness of it all, the weirdness of it all. Like that to me, I can't get past with Jessel. So my note to Jessel is like, just breathe, let anything go, and just show up fully as yourself because that is enough. Jessel and Bronwyn are giving sort of similar vibes, if that makes sense. Okay. Uba. Uba, 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 Uba. All right, Uba. Also, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't like Uba. I think she's mean. I do. I think she's kind of mean. Um, I think Uba's kind of mean, and I also think that she is hiding a lot. I think that Uba probably has a lot going on in her personal life, whether it's with family or friends or business or something. I think she has a lot going on, and she's not actually being honest about what's going on in her life. She hid her boyfriend for an entire season and then got mad at Brynn for bringing it to the show on the finale when she told Sai, and Sai was the one who told Brynn. So, and now that's her entire personality for season 2 is being mad at Brynn for exposing the fact that she was lying for the entire season about being in a relationship. That's an Uba problem, not a Brynn problem. But yet she's best friends with Sai, who is the person who actually betrayed her trust. Sai was the one who owed you silence, not Brynn. So again, very weird, bizarre, and I don't know. Uba's just mean to me. She just seems really mean, and I don't know. I'm not here for Uba. Um, Now the way she reacted to the angry black woman comment, how she clearly internalized it and then tried to make sure she got it on camera multiple times. That's not who she is. That's not how she acts. It's all Brynn's fault. Brynn triggered her. If it wasn't for Brynn, then she wouldn't have acted like this. Again, I feel the same way about Uba that I do about Brynn. It makes me sad because all of that still comes from a place of self-hate, self-judgment, internalized racism. Because if it wasn't, Uba would be like, this is who I am. I am a human being. This is how I reacted. And it's okay. I'm still worthy. I'm still deserving. I can be angry. I can be upset. I can be triggered. I can have every single emotion that is available to me as a human being. And that does not take away my humanity. It does not take away my worthiness. It does not take away my deservingness. And it sure as hell should not take away the love that my boyfriend has for me simply because I'm being a human being. But instead, she was like, no, that's actually not me. I only reacted that way because of Brynn. Because she didn't want to identify as angry black. She did not want to get any smoke for being angry black in case Brynn was right. And Oliver would be like, you're acting like an angry black woman. You're embarrassing me on TV. I don't want to be with you anymore because you don't represent the type of woman I want to be with. So she was doing 1,000% damage control. And I'm not going to judge her for that, even though I don't think it's right. I'm not going to judge her for it because that reaction, again, it's rooted in self-hate. Because, we have been taught as Black people, if you act a certain way, you're going to be thought about a certain way. You're not going to get opportunities. You're not going to get love. You're not going to get the job. You're not going to get the house. You're not going to get the position. You're not going to get the stature. You have to assimilate. You have to act white. You have to you have to present a certain way. We've been taught that as Black people. And if you don't, then you're going to be treated less than. You're going to be looked at differently. You're going to be discriminated against. So there's a lot of unlearning of self-hatred that as a society we have to do. So do I think what Brynn said was anti-Black 100%? But I also understand why she said it. I don't agree with it because I'm personally not anti-Black. I'm Black, blackity, black, black. No, but I understand where she was coming from based on her own level of self-hate. And so there's that. Now, let's see. Raquel, I don't think Raquel really wants to be here. I don't think she's having fun. I think she thinks the arguments are weird and pathetic. She looks a little scared to me. I like Raquel in general, but I don't think she is enjoying herself on the show. But I do like Raquel. I do like how vulnerable she is. I like how she's honest. I like how we're seeing every facet of her life, her job, her wife or her fiance, her kids, her backstory, her upbringing, and she's just a cool chick. I also like how she came on, but she's not Jenna's mouthpiece. She's not just saying whatever Jenna wants her to say. She's forming her own relationships with all of the women. She's being her own person. Because sometimes you see that when someone comes on the show and they're just like the mouthpiece of the person who brought them on. And I also like that she's not turning against Jenna, because we see that as well. The moment a new housewife comes on, they turn on their friend who got them on the show. So I like that she's not doing that. And she seems very normal and cool. My only thing with her is I'm not sure if she's having fun. I'm not sure if she wants to be there. Like, she kind of looks like she doesn't. That's my only note for Raquel. Like, tell your face you're happy to be here, because I don't think you really want to be here, but I really like her though. Rebecca Minkoff, very similar to Raquel, I would say. Like, my notes, she was barely in the episode, but I would just say, Scientology aside, even though I know that's a big thing, I actually kind of like Rebecca Minkoff. She seems to be herself. I do like how she put Brynn in her place, because I called it, remember? I called it. I said there's a problem with Brynn continuously trying to bully Rebecca Minkoff into drinking. If Rebecca does not want to drink in any context, it is none of Brynn's business, and she needs to pipe down about it. And Bravo also needs producers, I think, should step in and say, Brynn, you need to stop, given the fact that they have about 20 lawsuits that, are citing pressure on the workplace to drink alcohol. So I did like that, because I called that, I think, a couple episodes ago. So I do like the fact that Rebecca called Brynn out on it and was just like, you need to stop. Like, why are you so obsessed with me drinking? And then Brynn thought she was doing her big one. She's like, well, I heard that you do drink, you just don't drink with us. Brynn, shut up. Who cares? She could drink all day from Sunday to Friday. And if on Saturday she doesn't want to drink, she doesn't have to. Brynn, if I were you, I would be more worried about minding your own business, okay? I would be more worried about the rumors going around about you and how you get your money and how you don't get your money. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I would be more worried about working on yourself, go finding a rich man, because that's what your particular plan is. And that's no shade to that. I don't really care. But I do think, Brynn, you just need to kind of mind your own business, work on your own happiness, and stop worrying about what Rebecca Minkoff is drinking or not. Like, what does it have to do with you? Not a damn thing, So I did like how Rebecca stood up for herself. And I do like how Rebecca and Raquel, to me, have kind of the most authentic energy. Kind of what I'm going back to Jessel about. Like, I do think that Jessel, at her core, is a cool person. I do. But she has that weird, nervous energy to her. Whereas Raquel and Rebecca don't. They're very just authentic. They're chill. They are who they are. It was like, and also when Brynn was trying to get Rebecca to like pop off and shade, and Rebecca was like, no, I'm good. Like, I love that. She didn't get self-conscious. She didn't try to bend and fold to please Brynn or to fit in. She was just like, no, that's like not my style. And to me, that is the essence of a cool girl. Like, that is the type of woman I would want to be friends with. Someone who's like, no, I'm good. Like, this is me, and like, I'm gonna do me, and it is what it is. And like, you need to back off. So I actually really like Rebecca. I really like Raquel too. I just want to make sure she actually still wants to be on the show. Let's see who else is there. So I think that's it really for these guys. I feel like the last episode was kind of flat. Hopefully it'll pick up more, but I don't want the tired fighting to turn into dark fighting, which I think it does. Jessel said that they had to stop filming because of the fighting. So I hope it doesn't turn too dark with this whole situation, but I feel like it's going to. But the note I have for all of the girls is like, smile, act like you want to be there, like find something in your life to be happy about. You know what I mean? Like, they all seem sad to me. They all seem lonely, and they all seem sad. Except for there's a level of sadness to Raquel, I have to be honest about. I don't see any sadness with Rebecca, but I do see a level of something melancholy in and Raquel and all of the rest of the women too. Like I think Jessel is very lonely in her marriage. I think Uba is hiding a lot of her personal life. I think maybe things are good with the boyfriend, but maybe not good in other places. Like she said that he was the only stable thing in her life. So share with the group, Uba. You're on a reality TV show. Share with the group. What are you talking about? What's not good in your life? Share with the group. I think there's a lot going on with Uba that she's not telling us. And maybe that's why she's so mean. Jenna, whatever. Aaron is sad. Bryn is lonely. And Sai, I think Sad is sad too. So we'll see. But as always, I want to know what you guys think. Are you watching this season? What do you think about the ladies? And let me know your predictions for, the upcoming seasons for this. Do you think it's time to put them on a pause? If they stopped filming because of fighting, maybe it's time for a pause. Maybe the reboot needs a reboot because they're kind of boring. Okay. All right, you guys, as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's talk a little bit about the OC. So apparently, Tamra Judge, who is already super unhinged, apparently is even more unhinged and has lost her damn mind and went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on a live. And I have a clip from the live. I believe it was either TikTok or Instagram. And basically, Tamra Judge was slamming the fans of the show. She outed, some of the producers on the show. And I'm kind of like, should she be fired for this? Because she's basically throwing the producers of Bravo, of NBC under the bus with the fans. So I want to know what you guys think. This is according to Reality Blurb. It says, Tamra Judge called out fans for saying nasty, horrible things, including that she's mean. And she revealed that Bravo told her about the backlash. She also seemed to suggest that only 3% of viewers are critical of her, and she declared that the laws on social media need to change. Well, maybe the laws of reality TV need to change because you are mean and you are horrible and you are nasty, and now you're throwing Bravo under the bus. But let's go. On the current season of The Real Housewives of Orange County, Tamra shaded Jennifer's plastic surgery, and she accused her boyfriend Ryan of being investigated by the FBI. She also called Shannon Beador an alcoholic, and she allowed Shannon's butt dial convo to be recorded on camera. I think the hardest thing is, these people are saying such nasty, horrible things, like calling me mean, said Tamra of the fan backlash on The Weekly Scoop with CJ. Look in the mirror. One thing that Bravo told me, they're like, don't even worry about them. She went on, there are 3% of our viewers, only 3%, and the loudest and the meanest. She believes Instagram is now a place that's, quote, so gross. The comments to people and talking about people's weight and their looks and all, it's just death threats, she said. That is just gross. I think they need to change the laws. I mean, I obviously people are welcome to their opinion, but who does that? She added. The woman who literally coined, it's my opinion. Anyway, I don't know anybody in my circle that would ever comment or say things like that to people on Instagram these days. Tamra, are you serious? Are you Delulu? You have to be, I can't with Tamra. I can't. So earlier this month, Tamra shared that she discovered in her first therapy session that she's on the spectrum. At the time, many fans called out the star for seemingly suggesting that people on the spectrum don't have empathy. After her controversial statements, former castmate Vicki Gunvalson said Tamra was making a mockery of being on the autism spectrum. Alum Kelly Dodd suggested that she be fired. Now, this is the thing. Tamra has called people everything but the child of God all over the last how many years this woman has been on reality television. She has body shamed. She has money shamed. She's child shamed. She's done it all. So the audacity, the delusion for her to say that Instagram or, social media is mean and toxic and no one would ever say this in real life. Can we roll back the footage of how evil and mean you've been? in this season alone, let alone your entire run on the show. And then don't forget about that nasty little podcast you and Teddy Mellencamp have. Very nasty little podcast you guys have. Super mean to people and disgusting and gross. Girl, bye. Also, Bravo producers, are you listening? She basically said that you told her, don't worry about us. We are the people. We are the people she's referring to. We are the engaged audience. And by that, I mean you have an audience that just watches the show. That's a viewership. They just watch the show. That's an audience. But then you have the engaged audience, which is us. We are on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Reddit. We're talking about the show, we're sharing clips, we're doing videos, we're commenting, all of that. We are the engaged audience. And we are really the bread and butter for them. So for her to be like, oh, Bravo said that you guys don't count, you're just 3%, don't worry about them, they're so mean and they're so nasty. Well, now you got us looking at Bravo and producers some type of way. Because if it were not for us, they would make no money. You only make money when people watch your show through advertising. And you only get the numbers up when people are trending and going viral and doing podcasts and doing YouTube videos and doing TikToks and Instagram posts about you and your show. So keep coming at us, Tamra. Keep throwing Bravo producers under the bus. I wonder how they felt about that. Because I know as a person, when I spend my money on something and the people who make what I'm spending my money on turn around and tell me they don't care about me, then I'm no longer going to spend my money with that person or product or brand. So if these people who I am basically putting money in their pocket by using my time, my life, my money, my viewership to boost their money, then maybe I won't do that anymore if I don't matter. So Tamra, shut up. You're throwing Bravo under the bus, whether or not they even said that, because Tamra is a liar. She could have just made that up. I wouldn't be surprised if she just lied and made it up. She could be a liar. And it's also not true. Because look how much reality television in general, Bravo in particular, has changed due to the force of social media. Us saying, we want this person gone. We're not going to watch. We're going to boycott. This is too much. This is that. They're changing and they're listening to us. They're starting to catch up because we do matter. The only reason why you have cancel culture is because of social media. The only way you get canceled is if social media cancels you. So we do matter. And let's read the clip because she's a cuckoo person.
I'm not going to lie, but hey, they can't stop talking about me, so it's not exactly a bad thing. Yeah. I think the hardest thing is like these people are saying such nasty, horrible things and calling me mean. Like, look in the mirror. One thing that Bravo told me, they're like, don't even worry about them. Like, they're 3% of our viewers. Yeah. Only 3%, and they're the loudest and the meanest. I think that Instagram has gotten to a place that is just so gross. The comments to people and talking about people's weight and their looks and all, it's just death threats like that is just, it's gross. I think that they need to change the laws. I mean, I obviously get like people are welcome to their opinion, but who does that? I don't know anybody in my circle that would ever comment or say things like people do on Instagram these days. Yeah.
Like the delusion. The delusion. I cannot. But like, as always, I want to let you guys think about this. Do you think Tamra Judge, it's time for her to be put on pause? She seems to be losing it. What do you think about her throwing Bravo under the bus, basically saying that they told her we don't matter? Because we are the engaged audience. We are the people who go beyond simply watching the show, but we engage throughout the week on our social media, within our online communities. We're the engaged audience. We are the true bread and butter of Bravo. She's saying that they told her we don't matter. Do you believe her? Do you think this is true? And if it is, should she have consequences for basically saying that? And what do you guys think about this upcoming season? Da, da, da. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, you guys, I will drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and chat with me. But if not, I will take your candy cane questions and comments, and the link is dropped. Hey, Darren. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, Nataski. I love John too. I love John. I got full body chills when he was like, back off my wife. And then he went back the second time. To be honest with you, the second time I was like, can you marry me? That was amazing. Because in the first time he was like, okay, like, Justin, back up, don't swear at my wife. But then the second time he came up when they were just having the conversation, he's like, yo, get out of her face. Like, even more, I was like, yes, double down all day. Like, if you don't protect me the way John Barlow protects Lisa Barlow, like, I don't want it. Dusty says, yep. Hey, Tay says Team Barlow's me too. Yeah, he believes Whitney lies. Yeah, so we're talking about Justin, her husband. I think Justin believes Whitney lies too. I think he's just as duped as, well, you know what? I do think Justin believes Whitney lies, but I think because I was gonna say he's just as duped as like an Angie or a Bronwyn who believes her lies. But I actually think that Angie, even more so than Bronwyn, I think Bronwyn was just kind of weird. Angie wants to believe the lie. She wants to take Lisa down. She wants to go after Lisa. So I don't think Angie cares whether it's the truth or not because she wants to believe it. Whereas I think Justin really thinks that Whitney is like actually just telling the truth. Dasha says, yep. Hey, Tay, I saw Angie versus Heather last night. I'm Team Heather. Me too. I'm Team Heather when it comes to her versus Bronwyn. I'm Team Heather with her versus Angie, 1000%. Tay says, agreed. Bronwyn's house was a mess. It was a mess. And that's my thing. You have all this money, but you don't have money for a housekeeper. You don't have money for furniture. You're buying all this art, but you don't have a sofa? I'm confused. Like, furnish your house. Tata says, next week, Bronwyn kicks Lisa off the trip. Of course she does, because she's a little, weirdo. Ugh. Bronwyn's a show-off. Bronwyn's more of a show-off than Ayan is. That's saying a lot. That is saying a lot, because Ayan is also very, like, fluff. You know what I mean? Justin says, and silently builds resentment and wait for her time to strike. Yeah, so that's talking about, those friends who are secretly jealous of you and they really want to be you. Be careful, because they will take any opportunity to turn on you and use it as an excuse to be mean to you. Tess says, at Tay-Tay's, Lisa doesn't go on the trip. Lisa goes on the trip, but then Todd and Bronwyn want to kick her and John off the trip. She went on the preview. She was kicked off. Yep. They are waiting just for their moment to strike. And Bronwyn exposed herself 100%. I'm convinced all Bronwyns are weird. It's true. All that crap. Tired of Jared. No, Mary, but Meredith was on Watch What Happens last night. She was? Ooh, I gotta watch that. Is it back? So Justin just battling all the husbands? I mean, with a wife like Whitney, he's going to be fighting a lot. When you have a wife who pops off and is mean and is evil and talks about people and you want to defend her. Dusty says, period. None of them can stand each other. Show sucks. Okay, now we're talking about New York. Can't stand her. There's a weird dark energy to her. Sierra, hey Sierra Content says, I don't know why Meredith is so loyal to Lisa. Lisa dragged her worse than anyone else has ever dragged her. Meredith is weak for that. Oh, I actually really like Meredith and Lisa's friendship. I do. Tess says her mom's sick. Yes, Aaron's mom is cancer. Hopefully she's cancer free now. Knock on wood. I hope so. Tasky says the friends that are always there for everyone else. Yup. In crisis is when you know who your friends are, 100%. Jessel's outrageously superficial. Yes, she is. And again, I think when people are that superficial, where it just seems like a caricature, is usually rooted in their own not knowing who, like not knowing their like no sense of self and like really low self-esteem. Tasky says she's tried too hard to be this character. Yep. Daryl says, I like Jessel so far this season. Mm-hmm. Sierra says, I don't think Somalians understand the trope angry Black woman as well as someone who is African American. She may not know the significance of racism in that. I think that she does. I think that when someone says you are going to be portrayed as an angry Black woman, and I don't want you to be portrayed as that because your boyfriend may not want to marry you. I think it's pretty clear what that means. And whether or not you are African American or if you are African who now lives in America as an immigrant, you understand racism against Black people. And by Black, I mean African American people. You understand the racism because there's even racism, or I don't know if it's racism, but it's something, whatever it's called, between like African Americans and immigrants, people who come from Africa here. They feel some type of way about African American people. They look down on us. It's very different being an immigrant versus an African American. So Uba understands what that means. That's why she's on that's why the very next episode, that's not me. I don't act like that. That was Bryn's fault. That's not me. Nope. She understands that. I really don't care where you came from, who you are. You understand the racism against Black people. You do. Uba can pretend she doesn't, but she very clearly understands racism, particularly against Black people. She gets it. Hey, Natasha, you want to share?
Hey.
Hey, girl.
Oh, sorry, I was like, I kind of like forgot I was going to say something, and then I started getting into my skincare, and then I was like, wait. But I feel like you're right about like Jessel. The whole like, there's just like this element of like she's definitely playing like a caricature. It's like it's what she thinks people will like in America. And to be honest, it's like she kind of I don't know. It was very weird last year because I feel like, or last season, because I feel like after the season wrapped, people very much were on her side, mostly because they perceived her as being kind of bullied by Sai and whatnot. But, and so like now she's just like kicking it up a notch, I guess. I don't know. But it's almost like I'm not that mad at it because I do feel like there's an element of sadness to it. Like, I feel bad. Like, I wish that she could. It's like what you said was so accurate when it came to like taking a deep breath, because that's what I picture too. Like her just like taking a bit, because there's this element of like anxiety almost to her where it makes me anxious watching her. Because you know when people aren't like acting in their like authentic self, it makes you almost anxious because you're like, I don't know what's happening, especially when you're like particularly like, I don't know, like sensitive to energy or whatnot, because it's really off-putting, and then it almost makes me awkward when I'm around them, and I'm not even awkward, you know.
No, 100%, because the energy is weird.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, you're acting weird, and now I'm acting weird, and
now
I'm blaming you.
I just think she just needs to like take a deep breath and just chill and just settle into herself and like know like that's enough. We don't need all the pomp and circumstance and all the like her whole shtick with the MTA. That was tired and boring and stupid. The whole thing with like Tribeca, oh, it's up and coming. You don't live in New York, because nobody in New York would ever utter that sentence. Like, girl, stop.
Her poor husband.
You mean her best
God bless him.
mean her life partner?
Right? It's like, it's getting sad at this point. There's just this element, and then to make up for it, she's just so outrageously superficial, like in every aspect of what her goals are. It's like her children's schools and what she looks like and blah blah blah. How she's perceived, how her husband's perceived, hiring allegedly what'd you call those actors? Casting
Oh,
people?
central casting, like the
Yeah, like
extras.
to
Like, how
make
did
you
they not
have like a
know?
poppin' party. Like
How did
y-
they not know?
yeah, it's like weird. Yeah, I just like, I just wish she would just like love herself more and just know that herself alone is good enough and she doesn't have to put on a persona because people can see
Exactly.
through it. Um, what do you think about the whole size thing?
Size thing.
Yeah, like when she like moved or I don't know, it was like an emotional thing. I might have like shed a small tear when I saw the kids crying, I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, what size thing? What did I miss?
Oh, her husband bought like a upstate home and she buried her mom's ashes, partially buried them because she kept some,
Oh,
and she put a tree in it, a cherry blossom, and like she was burying it, and then like her aunt was accidentally wiping all the ashes on everyone. It was kind of cute, but it was kind of sad because the kids started crying too, and I'm like, I can't watch kids cry. I'm like,
gotcha. I thought you said size thing, and I was like, what size thing? Um,
oh
I
no,
I thought it was again. I was bored. Like, this is the thing. It was
it was
sad.
kind of boring,
It
but
was
I
sad.
am a sucker
It
for
was,
crying kids.
I know when the kids cried, but it was sad and like I felt bad and everything. But
And
again,
everything,
yeah,
all the things I felt them.
I felt sad and everything.
I
But
swear I felt them.
it was boring. Like, I'm sorry, but like I don't really want to watch people do ashes and like
Yeah, that seems private to be fair.
you know
Can
what
you
it is?
imagine doing that? And we don't like, we need to recognize that there are like men with cargo shorts holding cameras
It was like the
right there. I
different
forget about that.
different relationship, obviously, way different relationship, way different meaning. But it was like when Sutton had her friends Mercer's or whatever his name was, ashes, and she wanted to take it to Spain or Italy or something like that. And we're like, why are you carrying around? Why is ashes a storyline on the show? But I think that like the problem is if I were more invested in Sai herself, I think I would have been more invested in what's happening, like that scene and that story. But because I'm not invested in her, it's boring to me.
Yeah, I get it. I feel like she's just like, I almost get the vibe that she's just like in a very, I know like everyone treats it like this way because it's technically is a job. But it really like just for a lot of these women, that you can just tell this is like they're showing up for work. And it
Yeah,
shows.
they're just like Jenna Lyons, they're just clocking in and
And I
clocking
don't
out.
think I don't think they can really stand each other.
No, because they're not friends.
They're
Like they
really
just
not. They know of each other, but
you
they're
know
just
of
like
each other. They're not friends, and I'm not
they're
buying
not close like that.
And I'm not buying Uba and Aaron being besties. I think Aaron is like just doesn't want to deal with Uba.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't want to be on her bad side. I mean,
Right. Because Uba just like has no threshold to like stop. She'll just keep going and it's
hmm
weird. It's dark.
yeah,
Like when she like what she did with those like sunglasses situation or whatever, or no, her phone. It was like, girl. And like poor Aaron, like I'm not even the biggest fan, but I was like, can you calm down and back down? Like she's got it. She paid the price enough. It's just
yeah.
scary.
She was doing the absolute most.
Yeah,
And
and she just gets on my nerves because she doesn't show any part of her life at all.
no, like where does she live? We've never even seen her
We
house.
we don't know. And does she have a kid? I
No, where
think
does
she
she
does.
live? No, where does she live? No,
I
don't
know
think.
we don't know that, but I just like forgot whether she has one or not because she never talks about her life. It's never anything. She just kind of shows up and then
Yep.
makes commentary about her relationships with the women or whatnot, and that's it. We don't know anything about her life. Do they even film at our house where like you know how they have like a scene where it's like, okay, now this is at Uba's house and blah 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 blah. You know
No,
how
I
everyone
don't think
does.
they've never showed Uba's place, unless I'm
How is
mistaken.
she a main cast member and that happens? I don't get it.
I don't know. I mean, how
Very
are
weird.
women on these shows? Who knows?
Very
Who knows?
strange. And I know you like Bryn, but like I don't know, there's something like
I
about her
know, I know,
that
I know.
irks my soul. And I don't know, it feels gross. Like it feels gross. Like I would never want to like to the point where like I almost like wouldn't even want to be in the same room with her. Cause I'd be like, ew, I don't even want that energy. I don't even want her to look at me and that energy just come to me. Like I don't know what it is.
I like
But
Bryn,
like
even though I think she's like sad and lonely and a little bitter about her situation. I like her more in those moments because I think that's more of her being authentic. Just like that's just where she's at. I don't like the whole
baby doll voice where she's like,
baby doll, Jessica Rabbit, hyper overtly sexualized. That to me, I also think is a shtick, and it's tired and it's old. And it's just like, again, same note from Jessel, just take a deep breath, let it go, settle into yourself, and continue. But the all of the like, oh my god, and the men and the boys and balls and like stop. Girl,
I think
stop.
that's how she like genuinely like lives her life though. I think she was like raised by her grandma to be like that.
No, I don't think that. I think that is her defense mechanism. I think it's her way of trying, and this might sound weird, but it's like it's her way of actually not being seen. So it's almost like a mask that she's wearing. It's her
Yeah,
it's
she's
her
not showing
way
her
to,
vulnerabilities.
yeah, to not be vulnerable, to not be seen for who she really is. So I'm gonna act like this ditzy girl who's like, oh my god, I want to date your dad, but now I'm mother and ba 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 ba. And like that's
Oh my
actually
god,
her
the mother
way.
part, I can't.
Yeah, that's actually her way of protecting her vulnerability and actually not being seen. Whereas I think that if she let all that go and just got comfortable with being seen as herself, with all the insecurity, all who she is, that would actually be way more enduring and way more. I would connect more to that
I just think
than.
like everything she does just is to cater to like the male gaze.
Mm-hmm.
Even like some of her activities.
Yeah. Oh wait, Chocolate Chunk says they showed Uba's house this episode. She filmed with Raquel and showed the painting she's been doing since the pandemic. Um, they did. Was that at Uba's house? Was it her house?
Watch it be like someone else's house. I
Well,
can't.
Chocolate said they showed her apartment last season once or twice. Okay. Well, I could
Okay.
be wrong. I could be wrong. Thank you, Chocolate Chunks. Because I do remember the paintings. So thank you, Chocolate.
I don't remember it all. But yeah, my memory does not mean that that's the case. It's just like, I don't really remember. I don't really remember because she doesn't talk about that much for me to remember. Like if it just
Yeah.
happened once in like 12 episodes, I'm not going to remember, which is saying something. Like, why aren't we knowing? We don't really know anything about her life. And if she does mention, you have to pay really close attention, like one episode. You know what I mean? Then that means you're not really telling it. And it's usually like just a fraction or like a
Yeah.
little clue or something.
Agreed.
And I don't think that's very fair.
Yeah. What do you think about Salt Lake?
Oh my gosh. Brawwyn, I can't with her. I feel like why is every Brawwyn just weird? And what's the deal with like although I was just looking at these pictures, don't you love how Lisa is just like serving with the pose? She's
Love.
the only one. Her pose is like
Yeah. And like the wind is in her hair is actually moving.
it's the slouch, it's the curved shoulder like model pose. Like the
Mm-hmm.
classic. I'm like, okay, high fash. Um yeah, Bronwyn, I don't understand what her deal is. She does have that kind of like erratic energy Where I understand what you're
Mhm.
saying when she's like the same kind of vibe as Jessel, but like hers is showing up a little more mean and like kind of like
Agreed.
vengeful and like kind of like weird. Like Jessel is just trying to be like happy go lucky and is putting on this thing, but hers is like, and I don't understand because she showed her vulnerabilities sometimes when she's talking with Lisa and they had that heart to heart about her daughter's grandparents. And I don't know, do you think she's harboring resentment from that?
I don't think she's harboring resentment. I think her husband is. I think
Oh,
he's harboring a lot of resentment from that. But I think that Bronwyn, again, it's that classic where you tick all the boxes, like you're married, you have the house, you have the money, you have the stuff, but at your core, you're still unhappy, you're still lost, you still don't love yourself, you still don't validate yourself. So when you see someone like Elisa Barlow who does validate herself and loves herself, even though you want to be friends with her, there's a part of you that also wants to take her down a peg or two. And I think that's what's going on with Bronwyn and Lisa. Because it doesn't make any sense why Bronwyn just flipped on her so much. Like Lisa didn't do anything to her.
I know. It's just like, I
Why
feel
is
like it's
Bronwyn
very
going
hard for
so
these
hard?
women.
And why is Bronwyn going so hard for Heather? Like, lay off. It's really bizarre.
I don't know, but I'm
so
going to need
far Whitney's
Heather
butt.
and Lisa to tag team her because it's getting too much.
Agreed.
She needs to sit down.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think people just find it very difficult when they have like a toxic insecurity about them to look at Lisa because she presumably does kind of have it all. She has the husband, she has the style, she has the looks, she has the family, she has, that it girl factor. She's successful. And there's no real like sacrifices. Like in a way, there was a sacrifice for Bronwyn. She didn't get that in love, like
Yeah.
in madly love kind of thing. She got a love, a partnership, a support system, that way, which is great. However, it's not when you're a little girl and you picture who your husband's going to be. You don't necessarily picture that. You know what I mean? You lean more. I mean, like most of us grew up with Disney fairy tales. We grow up and it's always a love type of thing. It's not like,
An
oh,
arrangement.
like
Hello?
I'm going to get an arrangement.
Yeah.
Adamo.
Hello.
Hello, Adam.
How are you two?
Doing
I'm
what?
good, polite sir. You always sound so polite.
So
I mean,
British.
Right?
It's the British elegance. What can I say?
Okay.
Um,
Come on, elegance.
I know.
where do we start?
Wherever you want.
Right?
Okay, I'll just put it out there. I don't care for the fake New York. Like that show. I can't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I mean, and also to me, like the friendships just seem like completely inauthentic. To me, it's like the equivalent of Ashley and Karen in season 1 of Potomac trying to be friends. Like that's not.
It's just like coworkers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Ashley was so desperate in season 1 to be Karen's friend and everyone's friend because she was the youngest and naive and all this stuff, and like that was just Karen and Ashley are never really friends. Like they just pretend to be friends with the show. Like I mean,
I forgot about that.
I mean, with Salt Lake City though, the cool thing, the Ace of Spades of the Housewives right now. I can't with this Granddad Rose's wife. Like I really can't. They need to stop, and it's also just reaching. It's like everyone just wants to throw their daggers at Lisa Barlow, and it's kind of like, I mean, it's not quite the same, but it kind of reminds me of season 9 Beverly Hills, where they just wanted to blame Lisa Vanderpump for everything, and Whitney has this weird desire that she wants to always upset Lisa, and then next thing she's in a confessional saying, "Oh, I just wanted to be friends with her," and literally that is not how you make friends. Like
Really weird how everything.
And I think Lisa Barlow, and as Candy was saying last week, Lisa Barlow and Heather would be a nice friendship dynamic, but I still think that's a work in progress. And I'm not a big fan of the Bronwyn girl, but I still disagree with Candy's statement that I would get rid of her over Angie. I just think Angie needs to go first. I just think I still can't believe the girl is the center snowflake holder. That's just a crime in itself.
You despise Angie with a passion.
I mean,
isn't it so strange that like every single season they are going, since the beginning of time of the show at least, they have been going after Lisa. One person is. It's getting old.
Well, it's because she was the one.
It's like, how do you convince someone that they're that girl without convincing them they're that girl? It's like,
it's because she was responsible for the show being a thing. Because she literally was contacted by the production company back in 2013. That's how.
Yeah, but like,
and she said, "I'm not ready to do it now."
Mariah situation that they're trying to pull off.
I don't know. I mean, I sent both of you the thing on.
What?
The what?
Darling.
Yes.
What did you say next?
You just started to say something and you didn't finish, and he's acting like we're like bothering him.
I know, he like stopped mid sentence, and I was like, "Huh?"
And then he's acting like we're weird for asking.
Okay, Adam, I have a question for you, babe.
Yes.
Who would you rather? Okay, would you rather FML, Bronwyn?
Adam's already feeling energized just from this question.
Don't mix franchises. Don't mix franchises.
Oh my god. Okay, boss. Bronwyn, Angie, Brittany.
I forgot the names already. Bronwyn, Brittany. What was the first two?
Bronwyn, Angie, Brittany.
What's the L again? Because it's here we call it FMK.
FMK.
Okay, is the K a word that demonetizes you or something if you say it?
Well,
yeah, unalive.
Because there's certain words that there's certain words I don't want to say. I'll just say the word in case YouTube likes to punish me.
So is the F too, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So have fun with that. Have fun with marry or unalive.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is tough. All right. I'll get you back. Don't worry.
Okay.
So thankfully you didn't pick Grandad Rose's wife. Otherwise I would have really been mad.
Well, we know what category that she'd be in.
I would unalive Angie.
Okay.
Oh wow.
I would just out of because you've given me like the slivering of people. It's a tough decision. Yeah, Caddy made sure she wasn't going to give me the Gryffindor. I would have fun with Brittany, and I would marry Bronwyn because at least she had some business acumen.
Does she?
Well, I mean, if she worked for an investment bank, then she did something right.
I don't know, but she's spending frivolously.
And I just think Angie is evil.
Yeah.
Like to me, Angie and Mia must be like just. I think Angie and Angie, Whitney, and Mia from Potomac are distant cousins or something.
Whitney's like possessed. Her and Mia.
Yeah, there's something dark.
Okay, well,
like dark.
Dark.
Like I rebuke dark.
Mhm.
I mean, Natasha, what would you have done?
I forget the people already. My ADHD is ADHD.
Bronwyn, Angie, Brittany.
As I said, Candy's given us the Slytherin of people, so you know.
I honestly don't know. I can't imagine being stuck with any of those people for in a marital situation.
You gotta give it an answer.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first, and I'll think about it.
Okay. So I would.
Adam's so excited. It's his favorite.
I would unalive Brittany.
Oh wow.
Because she's just too dumb.
Just saying this out loud is. Imagine if they heard just that part. Like tuned in. They'd be like,
They'd be like, what's happening?
What kind of channel is this?
What kind of channel is this? She's just too dumb. And the whole thing with her kids.
And you're like, I would unalive.
She's not on your
Brittany because she's too dumb.
And she's not on your level. Yeah. She's not on your level. Yeah.
I would marry Bronwyn because hopefully she does have a prenup with her man. So hopefully I could get some money out of it.
Yeah.
And then I would have fun with Angie because we could just invite Electra in the bed and make it into a fun girl sleepover.
What?
Like she does with her husband.
Oh, you mean Angie's very husband? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Her and her husband
really
sleep with her like 13-year-old daughter in the bed. That's not healthy.
Every single night.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
No, that's not healthy for the child. Forget them; they're adults. That's not healthy for a child. A 13-year-old sleeping with their mother and their father every night. That's not healthy for the child.
I thought she was
unless that's a thing in the Salt Lake City Cougar Town or what have you. I don't know. Like,
no, I don't care what town you're in. Having your children sleep in the same bed as you.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I was out of the same bed of my mom by a young age.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know Natasha was like 17, but like, you know.
You know that? That's really weird. Yeah, I was 32. I'm just kidding. No, I was literally like probably the same age, and I would cry because I would be scared of the dark, and I would like scream for my mom, like scream bloody murder all the time and drive her nuts.
I mean, I would kind of do the same because like I had no siblings growing up, and like she was the one I would just run to. Like I'd just be like, I had a nightmare at like 4 a.m. and just say, "Mom, can you please help me?" I dreamt that a vampire was sucking me.
I think I watched too many like unsolved mysteries or something when I was little. My mom even took me to like a psychiatrist, and I told her that I was like scared a man was gonna crawl in my window and kidnap me. Isn't that so scary?
Yeah.
She was like, you're not allowed to watch that anymore.
What is going on with you guys? Vampires and like
I was like watching too many like murder, like true crime, even as a child, and it was like making me like literally scared to like.
Aren't you familiar with that movie, The Little Vampire Kid?
What is it called?
The Little Vampire Kid.
No, is it a kid show or is it?
It's rated. It's rated U, so like it's meant for like 6-year-olds. When I watched it when I was 6. But Natasha, we've both given our answers. It's only fair game, but you join in.
No, I would actually pick. Like, I'm not even taking an easy way out. Like, I generally would pick, and actually, like, basically for the reasons. Like, Brittany, she would just be too unbearable to even be around. Normally, why did I almost call her Crystal? Angie.
Oh my god.
Angie,
She looks like a crystal.
right? I don't know why, but she does. And I can't stop thinking about it. I don't know. For some reason, I just like picture her nose and want to say like a name with an R. I don't know why. That's very weird. And I understand that's weird. But anyway, yeah, I agree. Like, you would just have a sleepover and she can shut up. And like, maybe me and Alexa could be like friends and I could like, she could braid my hair or something. I don't know.
I mean, Candy didn't even take the friends part. You added an extra spice there, thinking you'll be friends.
I know.
And then, but Angie's like, yeah, Angie's exactly. There wouldn't be much requirements there, so it'd be perfect. And yeah, and then I guess you're just stuck with Bryn, and hopefully she can calm down, and we can get a good settlement, or like the will kick in or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess.
All right,
Okay,
I've got one. I've got one for you.
Okay, this is the final one because I have to go eat. I'm hungry.
I know my melatonin is literally kicking in. That's why I'm talking slow. I'm like, man.
Okay, Granddad Rose's wife. Mary.
Okay.
And how
Why don't you pick some dudes? Because we just picked John Barlow to marry.
Yeah, I mean that's just obvious. Okay. Natasha's actually giving me a good idea. You might regret it.
Yeah, give us some dudes. Come on.
Granddad Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Cosby's grandfather, literally grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
And Angie's very husband.
Okay, I can see the
I
angle
choose
of toughness
to
you were aiming
unalive
for.
all three, and I'm done. Yep.
Right, like into the dumpster, just like order one of those big ones where they can all go. Yeah, yikes. I mean, maybe you could like hang out with Angie's husband because he can do your hair. Right?
Oh yeah,
He's a
that's true.
hairstylist.
Yeah, I would hang out with him because he's nice.
He's nice. He's not yeah.
I'd marry him and then unalive the other two.
Yeah.
But I'm not having fun with none of them.
No, I could see Candy with Granddad Rose.
What?
He's joking. A very weird
Adam
joke.
Schmadam.
I mean, like, other than John Barlow, the rest are just questionable.
Imagine being married to Seth. Yikes.
I like Seth, actually.
He seems cool, but you would not want to be married to him.
No, yeah, not as my husband, but I would be friends with him. He seems cool.
I mean,
that's what I mean. I said, imagine being married though, like husband-wise. No, thank y'all.
Before you go, Candy, did you discuss the show I sent you that Lisa Barlow is going to feature on?
What show?
I just saw the clip, but we didn't discuss it. No, go ahead.
So Lisa Barlow is going to feature in it quite a bit. It's this brand new real estate show on Salt Lake City and Park City and all the nice affluent areas of Utah. And Lisa Barlow is going to feature in it for a good old half the season, supposedly, is what she said on her Instagram Live.
What's it called? Buying Salt Lake or something? I just made that up.
Something like that. Let me
That's
get this
cute.
So, the City Bravo.
Okay, researcher typer.
Sold on Salt Lake City is what it's called, and it's kind of a play on. I wouldn't say it's exactly like Selling Sunset, but there's some crazy people and some entertainment people. And Lisa Barlow is going to feature in it for a great amount of the show. And supposedly Lisa Barlow is considering upgrading her house. And if I was in her position, what I would hope is to see a house like the one that Meredith rents, but she actually owns it. Because what's her
Do you
name?
think Meredith's going to stay on the show?
She's barely on it,
right?
Because I don't know about like what it is, but like she supposedly has all this money, but she just likes renting places.
Oh my god, the little tiny picture of that one girl, I forget her name, is so funny to me. How you know it's tiny, teeny weeny.
Candy was literally
Mealy, whatever.
it was great. It's
just a little
really
tiny
funny.
bubble.
but with the reality of Meredith, like I've always kind of found it a bit questionable because she's all about renting, and to me, like
I think it's because she doesn't really live in Salt Lake City.
Well, that's exactly what Freddie kept on telling me. Freddie told me.
Yeah, it's just because they don't really live there, and all the kids are like adults now.
And
when they show up, it's kind of like, Mom, what are we doing?
But yeah, it's kind of weird though because
I gotta go eat though.
Because like she said, you had to eat, and you keep coming up with new things to say. Like, do you understand what
Barlow and Meredith?
Do you understand what happens to women when we're hungry? It's not pretty.
I mean,
if you're ever with a woman and she says you're hungry, you got about a cool 20 before bad things happen.
What are you cooking, Candy?
I don't know. That's why I gotta go find out.
You should I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna let you go because I'm tired too, and I'm having an early bed. So bye, guys. Thanks for the chats.
Bye, love. Okay, I'm gonna go eat, Adam.
All right, enjoy.
Are you coming tomorrow for OC?
Tomorrow, yeah, should be. Did you see the reunion trailer?
No, not yet.
I found it oddly disturbing.
Oh gosh.
I like Shannon, but what she said at the start of the trailer about I don't know. You'll have to watch it to understand.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
And I'm not going to give any spoilers, but a lot of the cast disappointed me.
Yeah, I have a feeling that the reunion isn't going to be satisfying because it was filmed so long ago.
The only funny thing that I found funny is that pretentious Debro was on the end of the sofa.
Yeah, they played her.
Yeah, they literally did.
Hey guys.
Anyway, enjoy your roast, your fry up, whatever you're having. I'm sure it will taste good. Yay. And yeah, see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Much love. Catch you in a bit.
Much love. So thank you guys. Thank you to Natasha. Thank you to Adam so much for coming up and hanging out with me. I love you guys. Thank you, Miss T. Thank you, Mikey Mike. Thank you, Chocolate Chunks. Thank you, Tay Tay the Savior. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, everybody who joined and who said hi. Thank you. So be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And also join us tomorrow where we will be talking about the Real Housewives of OC. And yeah, share this with people who like Bravo, who like talking about fun stuff. And check out all the fun goodies down in the description box as well. So that, you guys, I love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.